Зелена тройка с бубенцами, а вдали мелькали огоньки. Мне б сейчас, соколики, за вами душу мне развеять от тоски. Дорогой длинною и ночью лунною, и с песней той, что вдаль летит меня, и с той старинною, с той семиструнною, что по ночам так мучила меня. Так, живя без радости, без муки, помню я ушедшие года и твои серебряные руки.
Joseph Stalin was born in Gori, Georgia, which was then part of the Russian Empire, to the name Joseph Vissarionovich Dugashvili. In his 30s, he changed his name to Stalin, which is Russian for man of steel. Stalin grew up poor and an only child. His father a shoemaker and his mother a laundress. Stalin's father was an alcoholic who had mercilessly beat his son as well as his wife. As a boy, Stalin contracted smallpox, which resulted in lifelong facial scars. While attending seminary for the priesthood in the Georgian Orthodox Church in the nearby city of Tbilisi, Stalin secretly took up reading the work of German social philosopher and Communist Manifesto author Karl Marx. Stalin became interested in the revolutionary movement against the Russian monarchy. In 1899, Stalin was expelled from the seminary for missing exams, although he claimed it was for Marxist propaganda. Stalin became an underground political agitator and eventually joined the more militant wing of the Marxist social democratic movement, the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin. In 1912, Vladimir Lenin, then in exile in Switzerland, appointed Joseph Stalin to serve on the first Central Committee of the Bolshevik Party. In 1917, the Bolsheviks seized power in Russia. In 1922, the Soviet Union was founded with Lenin as its first leader. During this time, Stalin became the Secretary General of the Central Committee of the Communist Party. This role enabled Stalin to appoint his allies to government jobs and grow a base of political support. After Lenin's death in 1924, Stalin was eventually able to outmaneuver his rivals and win the power struggle for control of the Communist Party. By 1929, Stalin became the dictator of the Soviet Union. When Stalin took dictatorship of the Soviet Union, he began to launch a series of 5-year plans that were intended to transform the Soviet Union from a peasant society into an industrial superpower. The development plan was centered on government control of the economy and included the forced civilization of Soviet agriculture. That means that any farmer who would not cooperate was executed or exiled as punishment. Stalin ruled by terror and with a totalitarian grip in order to eliminate anyone who might oppose him. He expanded the powers of the secret police and encouraged citizens to spy on one another and had millions of people killed or sent to the Gulag system of forced labor camps. On top of this, Stalin built a cult of personality around himself within the Soviet Union. He had cities renamed in his honor, Soviet history books rewritten to give him a more prominent role in the revolution, and to mythologize other aspects of his life. In 1939, on the eve of World War II, Joseph Stalin and German dictator Adolf Hitler signed a non-aggression pact. Stalin then proceeded to annex parts of Poland and Romania, as well as the Baltic states of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Stalin also launched an invasion of Finland between 1939 and 1940. This was known as the Winter War. In 1941, Germany broke the Nazi-Soviet pact and invaded the USSR. The Soviets were unprepared for this attack as Stalin had ignored all warnings and intel from the Americans, the British, and even his own intelligence agents. As the German troops approached the Soviet capital of Moscow, Stalin remained there and directed a scorched earth defense policy, destroying any supplies or infrastructure that might benefit the enemy. From August 1942 to February 1943, the tables were turned, during which Stalin's Red Army defeated the Germans and eventually drove them from Russia in the Battle of Stalingrad. As the war progressed, Stalin participated in the major Allied conferences. Throughout 1943 and 1945, Stalin's iron will and deft political skills enabled him to play the loyal ally while never abandoning his vision of an expanded post-war Soviet empire. As Stalin grew old, he did not mellow. He continued to prosecute a reign of terror, purges, executions, exiles to labor camps, and persecutions in the post-war USSR. He suppressed all dissent and anything that smacked of foreign, especially Western influence. Stalin established communist governments throughout Eastern Europe. In 1949, Stalin led the Soviets into the nuclear age by exploding an atomic bomb. In 1950, Stalin gave North Korea's communist leader Kim Il-sung permission to invade United States-supported South Korea. This was an event that triggered the Korean War. On March 5, 1953, Stalin was put to rest after suffering a stroke at age 74. Stalin's body was embalmed and preserved in Lenin's mausoleum in Moscow's Red Square until 1961, when it was removed and buried near the Kremlin walls as part of the de-Stalinization process.